DeSanto Propane is 4 generations strong as a trustworthy, family-owned business with unmatched customer service. Go online at DeSantoPropane.com for more info or call toll-free at 1-800-752-4574 today. Since 1937, the difference has been DeSanto Propane.
Hello, everybody. Welcome into the FL1 Sports Podcast here on FingerLakes1.com. I am Paul Russo, joined as always by Jim Senecropi and Kyle Evans. I'm calling this more or less a sports grab bag episode. We got Super Bowl recap, kind of give some thoughts on the season overall. And then after that, it's going to be
Syracuse.
You name it,
basketball.
You got it. We got Cuse basketball. We got a little bit of sports documentary information. We got pitchers and catchers reporting. NASCAR's going this weekend. NBA All-Star Game. Who knows what we might fully get into
Tour
at Pebble Beach.
You know, and
one of my favorites.
coming off of the Waste Management last week.
So, a lot to potentially discuss here.
We won't talk about the Super Bowl too much, probably, because it's over, right?
Yeah.
We've heard it all.
Yeah. So, a lot to get to potentially here, so we'll jump right into it. But first, think a couple more of our sponsors, including GoNet Speed. The future of connection is here, and it's fiber. Made for how we live and work today, GoNet Speed fiber is faster and stronger than anything out there. You can check availability in your area as well as plans and pricing at gonetspeed.com and get ready for fast and reliable fiber internet straight to your home. And Auburn Auto Group. When it comes to selection and service after the sale, Auburn Auto Group has been the premier destination for new and used car buyers for 40 years. Among the brands offered on Route 5 in Auburn include Chevrolet, GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Honda, Toyota, and Subaru. And thanks to their wide range of makes and models, you're sure to find your new or used car at Auburn Auto Group. Yeah, like you said, Jim, the Super Bowl, it's pretty much, we're 5 days out.
Yeah.
Kind of been drugged through here. One of those things where I kind of talked a little bit about it, oddly enough, yesterday to a few different people. I just kind of feel like the whole entire worst Super Bowl thing is getting overplayed, how quickly we forget in recent memory that 13-3 existed.
Not the worst Super Bowl.
It wasn't amazing, but we've all witnessed worse. So I don't understand that dialogue overall. Just enjoy what we saw out of Seattle on the defensive side and keep it moving, I feel like, there. Quickly, before we go on, we as you know, as we've transitioned through this podcast, the winner, we had our picks. Congratulations to you, Jim. You are the champion of the year. You got back to 500, even money. 3-0, or rather 2-1 on the week. Kyle went 3-0. I went 1-2 on my props. So, just.
But I think the one I lost was the under on May passing.
Yes.
Yeah.
221.5 you had in one.
The last drive, kind of when the game was over, and they're just that
Garbage time.
Yeah. But I had an incredible betting day Sunday.
Better one of us than none of us. I had a pretty good day overall outside of these picks. I'm not going to sit here and fully complain, but damn, of all the ones I gave last week, I 2 of them I offered as my 3 I thought for sure were locks were whiffs on here. The Darnold interception, non-existent. The 3 players with a pass attempt didn't even happen either. No trickery in the Super Bowl.
Not at all. What about, especially with the offenses struggling, you think they might pull something out of their bag. But what were your bets, Kyle?
Yeah, so I had Matt Collins over receiving yards, 23.5. He ended up with 78 yards.
Yeah.
That was nice. Kenneth Walker over 19.5 receiving yards. He had 26.
Yep.
And then I took the under, which I got a little scared at the end.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know if the Patriots were going to go and score again. But and then separately, I made a Matt Collins anytime touchdown bet 2 minutes after kickoff.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I
Pretty good day,
actually, I bet almost unders across the board in real life, not on the podcast. I did bet over for Walker rushing yards, but I had Hollins under 2.5 receptions.
Oh.
You know, it was looking pretty good. And then that one drive, they got the touchdown back to back, 1-2. So, but my big win was Chris Goddard.
Yes.
He won the Phoenix Open. I bet, and again, you know, I worry about this podcast because we talk about the betting and stuff, and gambling can, like these sites, they, you know, haul you in, and you're going to lose money. most people, right?
Yeah.
So what do you do it for? Like, I never try to get too excited about the money. It's more about just winning and losing. If you think something's going to happen and you put, so I bet $5, $10 usually. I'm not betting $100 or more. But anyways, the Goddard pick, before the tournament started, I put $5 on Goddard to win. It paid like $68. And so he goes into the final round 4 or 5 shots back of Matsuyama. And I put $5 more on him to win. He was 1 shot ahead of Scheffler as well, who I thought would have been a decent bet. You know, you never want to count Scheffler off. So I put 5 more on Goddard, and that was $5 to win like $360. And then also to kind of hedge it, I put $5 on Goddard to finish in the top 5 on Sunday morning before the final round, and that paid like, you know, $32.27. But anyways, all 3 hit. If you watch the tournament, Matsuyama just bogeyed the 18th hole and lost in the playoff with the help of the rowdy crowd making noise in his swings. It was wild. It was wild. And I thought for a while to hedge, but I never did. At one point on the big bet, they were offering me like, I'd say 70. It was before the playoff started. Like, they were offering me about 70% of the winnings. But I didn't do it because, again, I'm betting not necessarily for financial purposes, but more for entertainment. And I was excited to watch that play. If I cashed out, then the playoff wouldn't have been as fun to watch.
Yeah, me and you for Sunday morning on the live betting for the Waste Management, we were on the same coin but 2 different sides.
You had Scheffler?
I did Scheffler because I got it at 22-1. And I'm sitting there going, like, what are the odds I ever get Scheffler at these types of odds again?
He made a run.
And he did. The only player who shot better than him on Sunday was Goddard. So
Goddard is the next Scheffler. I'm telling you, this kid is for real, and he's going to be the one guy, at least from a U.S. perspective, that will elevate to that Scheffler level and put in pressure. It's a lot to say. But he's won 4 times already.
Yeah.
And he's off to a good start today in Pebble.
Yeah, the numbers are eerily similar to Scheffler. I know Goddard was one of the last guys kind of on the outside looking in for the Ryder Cup last year. And for this year, even though it's not as maybe headline making, but probably is looking pretty good for the President's Cup, I would say as well. So
when you watch these guys, a guy like Goddard, he's different. He hits a low ball. Like, if you watch Scotty, he's different.
Yeah.
Like, all these cookie cutter golfers, you know, they all have like the great swings and the great ones just they do it their own way.
Yeah.
And Goddard has that way about him, and incredible putter too.
Yeah.
So, but anyways,
it's funny you mentioned the Scotty.
we're talking about the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's funny. Well, it's to be fair, it's the lead-in for a lot of people who watch the Super Bowl now is the Waste Management. But yeah, it's funny you mentioned the swing thing about Scotty too, because the way the back foot kicks out a lot, and I'm gonna turn into baseball nerd Paul here for a second. A lot like Clemente when he would swing, obviously way back in the day, the back leg would kick out, and you're right though, it's unconventional, not the robo swings or whatever the hell you want to call it at the end of the day for those guys. So.
Even Tiger, as technically sound as his swing was, it was unique to him. So anyways,
speaking of
Chris Goddard.
Yeah, speaking of Tiger though, Charlie going to FSU next year.
Florida State.
Well, 2 years. No, next year. Yeah. So, not going to. Funny that all the people were like, he's not going to Stanford. I'm like, who cares?
Yeah, really college golf, but it'll be interesting to see because I don't think that, I don't know if Charlie Woods is like that level of golfer, like
Right.
D1, because these guys are really good, and so he's getting there obviously with a little bit on the name. So it'll be see how he performs, and there's nowhere to hide in golf.
No.
You shoot your score.
Yeah. So all to do there. Yeah, you mentioned Goddard looking decent already at Pebble. They teed off 3 hours ago. That's when it started.
11 o'clock Eastern.
So obviously it's probably, I don't know, at least in the early season. I feel like a lot of people probably still maybe put this a little bit above the Waste Management just in terms
Well,
of
it's a signature
notoriety
event.
yeah.
Which it didn't used to be, but now it is. They also don't have the amateur celebrities playing on the weekend anymore. That ends on Friday.
Yep.
They used to play all weekend.
Yeah.
So it's a better field because it's a signature event.
Yeah.
And it's good. They play some rounds at Spyglass as well as Pebble.
Yeah.
But I do think it's cool to have a signature event at Pebble Beach.
Yeah. Agreed. I mean, Pebble's Pebble.
Yep.
Played it one time on a sim and it kicked my ass. So, well, yeah, let's transition over here. A little bit of Syracuse basketball, I suppose. I don't know. To me, about the only positive out of here in the past few days is the fact that, well, they win last night in double overtime, and the losing streaks come to an end, but not all rainbows, puppies, and little baby seals, as I enjoy saying. It's still an uphill slog, I would say,
Well, they
right, Jim?
beat Cal.
Yeah.
Cal.
Yeah.
I mean, they're having an all right season, better than us.
Yeah.
But Cal in the dome, double overtime. I mean, I don't get excited about that. I mean, glad they won. At least they still have a glimmer of hope. Remember NC State last year?
It's true. Yeah.
They were in a situation similar to where Syracuse is this year, and they won the ACC tournament and then made it to the Final Four.
Yeah, 2 years ago. Yeah.
That was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So I mean, it can happen, but another frustrating watch last night, and then the power goes out.
Yeah.
In the dome.
So before we get more going on overall, yeah, it's funny. I was at pickup last night. I'm on my way home and I'm listening to it on the radio, and I'm sitting there when the feed kind of cuts out. I'm like, do we have another production?
Like the audio feed?
Yeah. Kind of mishap, and I'm like, oh no, because they cut to the studio pretty quick, and it's like, no, they called it a power surge, which I'm sitting there going like, and mind you, whatever, it's a little bit different, say, in here than elsewhere. But like, I'm sitting there going like, I don't think a power surge would totally knock out the feed the way it did there, and it turns out it didn't. And yeah, they played essentially the end of the rest of the game without the runners. Clocks were off. I think they said on the radio, and I saw in the highlights, it was pretty much only the lights above the court, right, that were really on.
There was no. So. The dome looked completely different.
Yeah.
None of the video boards were on. None of the lights in the stands were on, and they used a scoreboard like you would see at an AAU tournament. But I found it pretty interesting because this is all happening live, and the game's on ESPN. It's not like a 10 million people are watching or anything, but nonetheless, there's a production team there, and they have to deal with the situation. So it started out, they didn't have any score, and I'm like, oh, well, this announcer's probably going to call it more like a radio game, give the score a lot. But then they started putting a score bug up in the right corner, which was just the score. And because scoreboards in these broadcasts are tied into the actual scoreboard at the game, so they're not like manually operated. So they had to transition and actually manually update the score. And then eventually what they did was they somehow got a camera on that little Rec League AAU scoreboard, and then they superimposed that into the score bug. So they did all this on the fly, and it was pretty interesting to watch. But
yeah, not go deep into our own bag here. Not what me and Kyle experienced a couple of years ago up in Wayne, but we had a power outage right at halftime a couple of years ago up in Wayne, and
remember that
for us, because we're running everything off the computer and everything like that. We lost our capability to do the audio side, and ended up being the game got postponed the second half to a later date. But I think we just kind of threw up a lower third, Kyle, being like, here's what's happening. It's not, you aren't going crazy on the other end here. This is a deal that's happening, and lo and behold, kind of figured itself out in the end. But
live broadcasting.
Yep. Welcome to the world. Jim, back to you though here. You were scouring the stats, and
well, I mean, you're watching these.
Well, it's a lot of the stuff that we've talked about before, but
I know. But consider this.
Yeah.
Syracuse is 14-11. Imagine if they were even 12-9, or 16-9. That's 2 wins that could have been losses. Total different narrative right now. Or imagine if they were 17-8. But I went back and looked, and literally as much crap as Adrian Autry's getting, and the state of the program and everything, free throws are the difference in all of it. Like, Against Houston, we all know that they shot 41%, 12 for 29, and lost in overtime. So just shoot 50%. That's a win. That's one win. Hofstra, 9 for 16, 56%. Just go 11 of 16, and you win that game. Boston College, overtime, 14 of 22, 64%. A little better, but still not up to par. Make one more free throw, and you win that game. That's 3 games. Against Miami, they shot 67%. That's another one possession game. Virginia Tech, they did shoot 72%, so you can't really say that's a game, but still 26 of 36, shoot 28 of 36, so those are 5 games that if they just made free throws, they would have won. And so I'm not going to say take all 5, but let's say take 3 of them. They would be 17-8 right now. It's so frustrating.
And we're talking about a completely different outlook of this team right now, literally entirely.
And last night, it almost happened again. I mean, it's a game that went into double overtime. We shot 60% from the free throw line, 25 of 42. It didn't need to go into double overtime. It didn't need to go into single overtime. As a matter of fact, we created a graphic. This is showing the last 5 minutes of regulation and the overtime periods. And when you're going into overtime, that means the game's tied. So 1 point swings it. So at the end of regulation, William Kyle goes to the free throw line with 4:54 left. He makes 1 of 2. Great. Whenever Kyle makes 1 of 2, fine.
Yeah.
But then you got 3:54, Starling to the line for 2, 1 of 2. 3:11, Freeman. This is huge. 0 of 2. And then Kings couldn't complete an and 1 with 1:38 to go. So at the end of last 5 minutes of regulation, they go 2 of 7 from the free throw line. They find themselves in overtime. So then we head to the first overtime, where over that 5-period stretch, they go 5 of 11, including inside the last, minute, 18 seconds, 9 seconds, making 1 of 2. Georgian Kings, a couple of guards. Freeman, going 1 for 4 in the first overtime period. The game didn't need to go to the second overtime. They should have been 1. And then the second overtime, finally, they shot a little bit better, 7 of 10, and won the game. But capped it off with a Starling J.J. Starling air ball for the final free throw of the game with 8 seconds left. It didn't really matter. But, as you can see, for all the talk about Adrian Autry and, and talking about changing coaches and stuff, free throws,
Yeah. They matter.
Doomed us
Yeah.
this season. We should be firmly on the bubble right now,
Yeah.
Fighting for a spot in the tournament for the first time in 4 years.
And my graphic is not as cool as yours, Jim, because I just ripped it right from the true rating stuff. But I just want to make a note of this overall here, too, because we have, this is not, what me and Jim are showing you right now are not analytics. This is legitimate, straight up old school stats.
Data.
Right? Exactly. Data. Syracuse, third to last in the whole entire Division I. That's 365 teams.
It's hard to believe.
Right? And I want to preface it, too, this way. South Carolina State, App State, Air Force, Maine, those are 4 teams I fade consistently when I bet college basketball. That should be all you need to know for what I'm about to say with Syracuse. So that 63.3 is their stat on the year for the season. That 64.7 is their last 3 games. But to me, the key part here is that final column all the way on the right, the 70.5%. It's what they shot last year. And remember how we were talking last year about how poorly they shot from the free throw line?
Even worse.
They're down over 7% from last year. Like, it's mind-boggling. It's frustrating how this consistently has been happening for this team now the past handful of years.
I don't know, Kyle, can you blame Autry for free throw shooting?
No, it's just like in hockey, you can't blame really the head coach for the power play. It's the assistants and other, just the players that are at fault. And I think it's here. I mean, you can go out and tell a guy to, relax.
Yeah.
But what else can you do as a head coach?
Take up practice time shooting free throws. I mean, everybody does in practice,
Yeah.
but you only have a limited amount of time. You can't spend the whole time shooting free
It's
throws.
mental.
Yeah, and the players need to come to campus or to the first practice of the season. Already, we haven't worked that out. That's stuff you work on at home, alone, in your driveway. there's a lot of things I don't like about Adrian Autry watching the way he coaches this team. But his job is on the line, and it's looking like he's not going to keep it. And
We
in a way, maybe everybody's a little too harsh on the guy because he's got the worst free throw shooting team in the country.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's fair to kind of add this addendum right now to that. But yesterday, news did come out. Not that it like broke because it did come from the source itself. John Wildhack, the AD, is retiring at the end of this more or less scholastic year.
Yeah.
So Syracuse is going to have wholesale changes from Chancellor to AD.
Last time we were in this situation, Daryl Gross and Greg Robinson.
Yeah. So I don't know. I still don't. I'm with you. I think we're still looking down a new head coach for the basketball team at the end of this year. It'll be interesting though because I did get asked this, and I'm cautiously optimistic. I feel like if you're doing effective July 1, you kind of already have your plan in place of how the succession's going to go from the athletic director side. Could be wrong, but I would imagine and hope that we'll call it a collaborative decision of sorts on Red Autry at that point, and not Wildhack setting up the next AD to.
Well, I don't think you're going to want to wait until July 1st.
Correct. No, you can't.
Right.
You can't.
You're saying that the new AD, they'll know who the new AD is by the end of the basketball season? They got somebody in the wings?
I don't.
Wildhack.
I don't know. I don't know about right now, but the way, because I even got an email about it. I feel like him saying I will be with the school through July 1st is an indication to me that they have some sort of plan already in line. I don't know if that means they already have a name in mind or there is a name. I don't know. I'm not trying to do a speculate or drop hints or anything like that because I don't know. I just, reading between the lines, it just read like they have a plan in place and they're going to execute it, and it just kind of is one of those trust us. But
pretty underwhelming tenure.
Yeah.
From what we were hoping for when Wildhack got hired. I can say that.
Yeah, he came in, what was it, year 4 technically in the ACC for Syracuse at that time, 10 years ago. And since then, you could make a case that the only programs that really have seen any notable improvement have been on the soccer side and maybe women's ice hockey, and that's about it. So
they had one kid that won a couple national championships on the track and field side, but again,
those aren't making the money.
It's proud. It makes the school proud to see that, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it's football and basketball, and I don't even want to talk about lacrosse in the same, the same conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as that's gone, he had a couple decent, he's kept the football program kind of semi-competitive and afloat. Basketball's gone into the gutter.
Yeah.
And
even though let's not act like lacrosse has been a smooth road because it hasn't been.
No, we haven't won any national championships under him.
Right.
We used to win every year.
Yeah.
But at least they did get back to the Final Four once.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know. Optimistically, biggest lacrosse game in how many years? Tomorrow? Number 1 and number 2.
Yeah, it's hard to get too excited about lacrosse in February.
Yeah, no, I hear you there. So. And
the other worst part about lacrosse, take it from a guy who was at school there and friends with a lot of the guys on the lacrosse team when they did win. I think they won 2 national championships when I was a student there. We were all gone.
Yeah.
We were home in early May, mid-May, and Memorial Day weekend was the Final Four, so there was no parties on campus. Right. So, anyways, it's just lacrosse is a different thing.
Yeah.
And the majority of the country doesn't care.
That's true. Very true.
It's not a revenue generator.
No, it's not. There's a reason why Syracuse is the only school that plays in a 50,000 plus venue seat for lacrosse. And that's just because it's out of necessity, not.
Yeah, I mean, it is cool. I went to a couple girls lacrosse games with my daughter when she was in the past 5 years. And it was fine. But again, football and basketball are going to define the success of your athletic director.
Yep, indeed. Well, hey, speaking of spring sports, Kyle, pitchers and catchers have started to report across the big leagues. I think there's only one team remaining that has not technically reported yet, and that's the Dodgers because they do that tomorrow. But I don't know. Something makes me feel all good to seeing video come out from pitchers getting their first first official spring bullpens in and stuff like that. Got to feel pretty good for you too, I'm assuming, on that front.
Yeah, definitely like the first few days, and then when we get into spring training, it feels like it never ends. Like the games, I mean, of course we're in spring training now, but the games, I mean, starters don't play the full game. It gets just boring, and I think the Yankees are playing 28 spring games this year, including 2 in Arizona for the first time in like 50 years. So I don't know. It's gonna drag out, but we are 41 days away from opening day. Oh, actually, I should say opening night because it's only the Yankees and Giants playing.
Right.
So.
The Yankees have made one major-ish move since we last talked. Paul Goldschmidt back on a 1-year deal, fully running it back.
That's going to be the move that gets them into the World Series.
Yeah, I like me and you, Kyle. We talk about it a ton anyway off air, but I don't know. This is probably more suited for a little bit further down the line. But either way, the fact that they're just kind of trotting what they more or less had last year is just mind-boggling to me. It's just, I don't know.
It's hard to really get excited. I mean, they do this every year. They run back the same teams usually than the year prior. They always blame injuries. They're gonna say Garrett Cole coming back is their big missing piece, which of course he's a great piece to have. But is that the piece that's gonna get him over the hump? Probably not. So.
And is he gonna survive the season?
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why I think this year, going into the year, I'm as least interested in ever, because management just refuses to like go all in, despite the long World Series winning drought. Because of course they were there a couple of years ago, but it just seems like you're gonna go through a 162 game season again and fall short. Similar to the Bills. That's all it's been, year after year now. You know, high expectations going into the year, and you win those playoff games, but then you don't get to the end.
Yeah.
So
definition of insanity, right?
But I guess you could be a fan of another small market team that never makes the playoffs. I don't know how you deal with that. I mean, I guess I did deal with it with the Sabres for all the years. And who knows? They're not guaranteed to make it this
They
year.
haven't made it yet.
Yeah.
So I guess I kind of know the pain.
Yeah.
But when that small market team does break through, it's all the sweeter, but it is fleeting. So, like, if you're a Pittsburgh Pirates fan, I remember the Pirates were the best team in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
John Candelaria, Bill Parker, Madlock, John Candelaria, who was the sidearm reliever? Kent DeColvey. Johnny Ray at second base, Manny Sanguian catcher. I'm trying to think of all these guys. I'm missing somebody. Oh, Willie Stargell.
I'll say you had Pops.
Yep. Yeah. And Chuck Tanner is the manager.
Mm-hmm.
And they had the unique hats, the stove pipe type of hat.
Yeah.
Anyways, we are family.
Yes. Yeah. There's a fun tidbit about that is Parker wanted ain't no stopping us now, but as he would say before he passed on, what Willie wants, Willie gets, and that was we are family. So Willie Stargell Stars continues on. Yeah, I don't know. I find this year to be really fascinating for baseball just because, like I said, we're probably going to talk about this more in a few weeks overall, but like impending lockout, a lot of momentum though behind the sport right now. It's a World Baseball Classic year. You have names in different spots as usual, but like it's one of those things where it's going to be, I don't know, going to be an interesting opening month here as things get going and we kind of kick off the international run with the World Baseball Classic.
I should add, I said spring training was going to drag. It's not this year because of that baseball classic. So I'm actually looking forward to it. And I mentioned it last week. The U.S. games are 9 p.m. our time, Eastern.
Yeah, perfect.
So I think that's a perfect time slot with when there's not much going on here in early March. Well, at least for me.
Yeah. No, they're with you. I know for us here coming up, I'm going to make it sound probably a little bit bad. And I don't mean it as that, but we're at the end of the high school basketball regular season. Sectional play is about to start. For us, it's a marathon of sort of like a week and a half, 2 weeks. It's always fun, but that's going to be the beauty of it is I'm going to get home from some of those games, and it's going to be perfect. We'll probably hop in like the third or fourth inning and be a perfect way to wind down the night. So,
Well, to me, for a general viewing audience, for the sport of baseball, that's more compelling to watch than, even Yankees versus, whoever, the Marlins in, April.
yeah. Well, it's such a different. It's a culture thing too. I know I mentioned it a little bit last week on air, but one of the things that I've been enjoying right now as a baseball fan is watching the Caribbean World Series stuff again this year, the Winter League stuff, because it's been on MLB Network in heavy rotation again, and it's great. But the international stuff is such a great culture moment. I kind of wish we would adopt it more during the regular season. I don't think it's necessarily possible, but just those international games when you have the Dominican Republic against like Puerto Rico, and it's just two awesome fan bases converging, and it's just the energy for 9 innings in like 2.5 hours is so great. And it's legitimately some of the best baseball you will see for legitimately like the whole year. It's fantastic. So more on that though probably in a couple weeks when we really get going though with the World Baseball Classic. So
When does that start?
March 3rd, I think it is.
Wow.
3rd or 4th, something like that. So
I think it's 3 weeks from today.
yeah, so that would be the 5th. I lied. I was close.
Yeah.
Whatever. But looking forward to that. Go Team USA. Go Team Italy, by the way, too, personally.
Italian baseball?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They got some studs on that team now. Vinny Pasquantino, Jack Caglione.
Good curlers, too,
Managed.
apparently.
Yeah. Hey, if you had the first goal scored by Italy over Slovenia yesterday,
Oh, wow.
good for you.
Yeah,
for
haven't
hockey.
bet in the Olympics.
Yeah, I'm not betting on international competition like that. Yeah, speaking of hockey though, Kyle, officially we're into the Olympic break for the NHL because of all that. I don't know. I don't like fully pushing towards this, but like, do you think it is going to be like USA versus Canada? Like it's all kind of shaping up to be that everybody's kind of saying.
Yeah, unless one of the goalies gets really hot and steals a game, because we see that a lot of times, or a goalie can just play out of his mind and single-handedly win them the game. We kind of did see that a little bit yesterday when Slovakia beat Finland 4-1. Good goaltending, and they had one guy that just went off, and that was considered an upset, of course. So if that's a sign for things to come, I don't know. But then again, Canada won big this morning.
Yeah.
And shut out. I forgot who they played. It was 5-0. And then USA gets going in about 40 minutes from now, first game. And remember, each team will play, I think it's 3 games in the first round, and then it turns into a single elimination.
Yep.
And there's 3 different groups of 4 in this tournament. So I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I think if USA and Canada did meet, I think that's what everyone would want. The most talent on both sides. I think USA does have a legit shot at winning, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at their power play, too. It's stacked. Like, all the Americans are.
Was it last year that they had the World Hockey Classic where USA and Canada
Last year
played,
they
or
had
2
what
years
they
ago?
called the Four Nations phase.
Yeah, the Four Nations. Now that
was
was
a lot of
pretty
fun.
intense.
Yeah.
I think this will kind of follow, or maybe even better.
It should be better just because you're including the whole world, but that USA-Canada rivalry that was kind of spawned from the Four Nations should continue on.
Yeah.
It looked like USA was going to win. They had the lead, and then Canada came back, and the only thing McDavid will probably ever win.
Oof. As
Edmonton isn't going.
somebody who saw him play for their Erie Otters, come on, man. Brutal.
So right now we're at the Olympic break, and when will the NHL resume again?
Beginning of March, I think, right?
So it's going to be
Or,
that
well,
long, huh?
near it.
Yeah, I think it's. Actually, I think it's 2 or 3 weeks from today.
Yeah.
So, and then the playoffs start in mid-April?
Yeah, this year I think it's. Let's see. Teams have between what is it right now, Kyle? Like 20 and 25 games left, right?
Yep.
So I think it's a little bit later this year because of the Olympics. I think it's more closer to the end of April.
Where do the Sabres stand right now in terms of playoff positioning?
They hold the first wild card spot, and
So
they're
they're
only a
like-
couple points out of a division spot.
So
So
they're like a 6 seed?
7. Right?
6.
6.
Wow,
They
so
But it's still like there's only a few points separate each team. Like there's so many moving parts.
what do you think, from your perspective, is the best case, probable case, and worst case scenario for the Sabres from now to the end of the regular season?
Well, I'm starting to think a wild card spot's better for them because the Atlantic Division is insanely tough. You got the Tampa Bay Lightning, Detroit Red Wings, who the Red Wings are also looking to break a playoff drought too. It's been since 2014, I believe.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think a wild card spot would be better because you look at teams like Boston, Pittsburgh, you would think they would drop off a bit, but yeah, I mean the Sabres too. They'll also have a tough schedule. There's no guarantee they're gonna break this playoff drought, and who knows that this Olympic break could
Derail
affect
their
things.
momentum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is still scary if you're a Sabres fan, but I think you can still be hopeful because the stretch they went on was so long. It was like a month and a half period of
Yeah, no, they're a
hockey.
good team. They're a
Yeah.
good team.
And you just hope the pressure doesn't also get to them because this is an unfamiliar spot where they are the second youngest team in the league. They have not been sniffing the playoffs in 14 years. Are they going to come out of this break and maybe just
Drop 4 straight.
and really kill them because you can't go on a losing streak with the way the wild card is this year.
Yeah.
They'll fall out quickly.
Yeah.
So I'm hopeful though. I'm not really too nervous, but we'll see. The schedule's tough. They
Yeah.
come out and open on the road with 4 straight. And by the way, it is the 25th when the NHL comes back.
Gotcha.
So it's actually 13 days away.
Yeah.
And it's not that bad.
No. But, yeah, it's going to be interesting. The whole entire. I don't know. This was a little bit different because you do have some guys playing, obviously, and some guys not. Rust versus rest. Momentum. Not having it anymore.
Oh, it's like a reset.
Yeah.
It's like a reset. Anything could happen.
Yeah. So, a lot to look forward to. That's pretty
You
much.
see a scenario where they don't make the playoffs?
I mean, the way things have gone all these years, yeah, I could see it.
Please.
And
So that one's an easy one.
I don't know what you can do with the fan base if they don't make it this year after what they've done and the hope they've given.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you just have any single hope for the future if they go and blow this with 24, 25 games left?
Yeah.
And remember, the trade deadline's still upcoming, so that's big too for the new GM. Is he going to be super aggressive? Is he going to make the moves? I think that also will impact how the fan base feels if they do miss. So we'll see. It's going to be fun, though. We have World Baseball Classic. We have this. We have Sabres playoff run, baseball, regular season, golf.
Yeah.
March Madness without Syracuse?
Yeah. Wow. It's a lot to get to in a couple weeks, really, to be fair.
Well,
A
I've
lot of
always
that
said
stuff.
it was the best time of the year. Specifically, we're a little ahead of it, but the two best times of the year were always World Series time when the NFL was in full swing, and college football, and hockey, and NBA.
Don't forget the NBA.
And then the other best time was always Final Four into the Masters, baseball opening day. Those are traditionally the best times. But with Syracuse not being in the tournament, it certainly, at least for me personally, puts a damper on it.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously I would love to have Syracuse there, but I don't know, there's still something magical about watching a guy who might be doing your taxes next year completely decimate Duke and send them packing in the round of 64. So, anyway, that's pretty much all I got. I don't know if there's anything else.
Well, it's sad
This
that
sports
there's-
grab bag episode.
There's only 3 NBA games tonight, and then it goes to the NBA All-Star break.
Yeah.
So now we're going to have no NHL regular season or NBA regular season for the next several days.
Well, you could
What are we gonna
pop
do?
open Netflix and watch The Miracle on
Yeah, I was about
Ice.
to say, you
documentary.
mentioned it a little bit, Jim, off air. So
I mean, I've seen everything about that. There was the movie,
Yeah.
the Disney movie there, which was pretty sweet. But this documentary was great because it brought back pretty much, I don't know if I want to say all, but several of the team members who are now in their 70s.
Yeah.
To Lake Placid, and they sat down and watched some of the games and talked about it. And it was, because to me, it was the greatest thing that ever happened in sports. It's unbelievable, unbelievable Cinderella story. At a time that had an impact on, our national pride, and it happened in New York up at Lake Placid, And so yeah, I'll watch anything they put together on that. And they did a good job. It was enjoyable. It was a little under 2 hours, and I enjoyed watching it. So I'd recommend it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. I said to you, it's one of those things this weekend I'm going to try and get to. It's going to be tough because for me, I got NASCAR going officially again this weekend, and Daytona's Daytona, so I have to must-see TV for me at that point. But
Yeah, we didn't
yeah,
talk about Daytona because
the stuff like that, yeah. But the stuff like that with Miracle on Ice always intrigues me. There's always something to usually kind of learn a little bit more about it each year, whether it's consequential or inconsequential or not. Like,
learned a lot
I was
about
watching-
Herb Brooks.
yeah, I was watching a little bit of a clip, and even from this side of things, like that was only Al Michaels' second ever play-by-play call for
It's
hockey.
so funny watching them sitting
Like,
there in their sweaters. He
yeah.
looks like a teenager almost.
Yeah, like it's
And
crazy.
he may have one of the greatest calls ever.
Yeah.
Do you believe in miracles?
Perhaps the
Yeah,
you
the
think about it.
definitive call for
Yeah.
sure. But this documentary, you learn a little bit more about Herb Brooks,
Yeah.
and there's a real interesting part about what the guy who was the last guy cut.
Yes.
They talked to him, and that's, I don't want to spoil anything, but that was pretty cool. But probably the greatest job in coaching history.
Yeah.
Took a bunch of college kids.
Yeah.
And played against professionals
Yeah.
and won. And
Yeah.
not only that, but the people don't realize how dominant the Russians were
Mm-hmm.
back then. I mean, they were literally like the Globetrotters of
Yeah.
hockey.
Yeah.
Just like there's no way that the USA. I mean, they got killed the week before the Olympics started by that same team.
Yeah.
In
That was
Man-
on MSG, I think.
Yeah, it was
right?
at Madison Square
Yeah.
Garden. I don't know, was it 10-1?
Something like that.
But yeah, they won the game. They won the semifinal game
Yeah.
against the Russians, and then went on and didn't put a damper on it and won the gold.
Yeah, I think that's also the underrated part too. Even though it's well known, I mean, I think a lot of people do forget the fact that was to get to the gold medal game.
Yeah, it wasn't the gold medal game.
Yeah,
and it wasn't broadcast live.
correct. Tape delayed.
The game was on at 5:00, was live at 5, and it was aired at 8.
Yes.
Different time, you could easily have not found out. But when the announcer came out, and I learned this from listening to Chris Mad Dog Russo talk about this documentary. They were talking about the Miracle on Ice, is because he watched this documentary too. But he said that he was 21 years old, and him and his buddies were waiting to watch it, so excited they didn't know what happened. And when the broadcast started, the anchor for ABC, I think it might have been Jim McKay, he's like, "You're not going to want to miss this," basically giving away that, but anyways,
Yeah.
different time. I was 8 years old. I remember it happening. I don't remember sitting there watching
Right.
it. But I do remember a lot of stuff from the Olympics.
It's incredible.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
I'd recommend it. It's on Netflix.
yeah, I'm with it. I enjoy a good documentary. So, but like I said, my main focus though overall, Sunday, Bubba Wallace.
What
Daytona
time?
500, 2:30.
Who's your pick?
Bubba.
So you're gonna bet him?
Bubba Wallace, of course. Come on now.
You bet with your. You're not supposed to bet with your heart. You
I
bet with
I
your
can
head.
do. I can do that though. Bubba's best track is by average finish is Daytona. So, especially in the 500.
What are the odds?
Oh, I have not looked up that yet.
Wow.
Because the key part is this weekend is totally different from any other race weekend. You have the dual races tonight, which set the starting lineup outside of the first row. So that will swing things a little bit come about midnight-ish tonight when everything wraps up.
And America's sports public is waiting with bated breath. It used to be a lot bigger. Like Daytona's the Super Bowl of NASCAR, and you wouldn't even know what's happening. Honestly, you would.
I don't know. It's one of those things where I think for the 500, it's still pretty big. I mean, it always sells out. It's still the highest rated race. It's, still draws the most celebrities out and stuff like that. So, I don't know. I don't know. My own gripes with kind of the broadcast partners, but that's a different podcast for a different time.
What's the race? Who's broadcasting it?
Fox. Yeah. So, but
I watch it.
there you go.
I always watch it.
There you go. Kyle had something over there.
Well, I was gonna say, if I had to make a prediction, I'm feeling something weird with Bubba Wallace. I think he wrecks.
Why you gotta be that way?
That's step one to win Daytona is don't wreck.
Correct.
And it happens too often, doesn't it? I don't really know.
Half the
The
field
big,
wrecks
the big one, yeah.
in Daytona.
Yeah.
Is there ever a time where like there's like no wrecks?
Oh yeah,
Almost every time.
I remember distinctly, and I don't know. It's kind of funny because this is the 25th year since Dale Earnhardt died in the 2001 Daytona 500.
I'm getting old.
But the following race, restrictor plate race at Talladega, was a caution-free race.
Wow.
No wrecks, no nothing. It was a caution-free 500 miles. So, yeah, I mean, it happens. It's you don't see it often.
More
clearly.
rare than a perfect game in baseball.
But yeah, maybe it's one of those, like, I feel like once every other year type of deals that kind of happens. Like right now,
They have a caution-free race.
well, wreck free at this point. There no such thing as a
You mean
caution-free.
wreck-free, meaning that everybody that started finishes,
Yeah. So
because there's always something going on.
yeah, there was a couple times last year where like there were cautions for, say, like somebody spun or something like that, but last year I think was the least. I think it was like the least atrocious season in terms of like DNFs and stuff like that for teams.
Didn't it rain
so.
and they finished late at night?
Oh man,
Maybe that was 2 years ago too. I don't know.
Florida weather is Florida weather, so I don't know. Sometimes these years kind of run up against each other for all that, and either way, there's a possibility this 500 gets run on Monday at this point. I don't know. So, but it's Florida. It rains every day in Florida. Just keep it moving.
I think NASCAR would be more exciting if they didn't have weather delays.
Well, they do run the road courses and the short tracks now in the wet. Obviously, a place like Daytona, unless we get some really insane tire technology coming, I don't see that as being a safe option. So,
Well, everybody have to slow it down.
yeah, I guess.
Do those cars have windshield wipers?
Yeah, for road courses and short tracks, yeah.
But like the Daytona cars won't have windshield wipers
No.
on them.
No. So,
They have air conditioning?
no. It gets hot in those things.
Yeah, and drivers have to relieve themselves.
Some of them do, some of them don't.
Yeah.
There's some funny stories involving all that, but that's not. I'm not going to do that on this podcast anyway. But yeah, that's all I got for the week, guys. I don't know if we've missed anything in this kind of grab bag episode or anything like that. So
No, I just it's a weird thing when the NFL season officially ends.
yeah,
Because it's so overwhelming in the American sports ecosystem. It's just like, everywhere, and it's been going on since September, beginning of September. That cycle of talking about the games and watching the games, and then talking about the games and watching the games, and from the perspective of fantasy football or being a fan of a team, and then it's over, and I feel like it's time to play some golf, but we're not going to be able to do that for a while around here.
no, yeah, it's weird because there is a certain point too where, and I don't know if it's just Washington has sucked, but I don't know. Sometimes I get to the Super Bowl and I'm kind of done with football anyway, to a degree.
Yeah, I used to be excited when it ended because now people could focus on college basketball, but now I don't. Syracuse isn't involved.
Yeah.
Don't care.
Yeah. So.
And they still never do anymore. They'll still talk NFL.
Oh yeah.
Like, the moves, the hirings, the whatever.
Yeah. It's brutal. So, all right. I think we'll get out of here on that note. So, be back again next Thursday, 2:00. Who knows what we might talk about? We might have something crazy happen. Who knows? Seabiscuit returns from the dead. Who knows? So, you can find the FL1 Sports Podcast here on fingerlinks1.com, the FL1 YouTube channel, and all major podcasting platforms. We'll see everybody again next week. Enjoy the weekend, everybody.